Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Again, I am your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. We're going to shift the focus on you just a little bit and talk a little bit about that summer spending that we've been doing. I'm here with Cynthia Chen. Cynthia, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Can we talk a little bit about some of the reasons that our seasonal spending seems to be doing this?
Summer brings the perfect opportunity to spend. Families are traveling, there are holidays, and kids are out of school, and people are attending events, eating out more, and really taking advantage of the great weather and seasonal activities. And many of those expenses feel justified because they're tied to experiences and time with family and friends, but they can indeed add up very quickly if they're not planned for in advance.
Can we talk about some practical ways to kind of plan ahead?
To plan ahead, you really need a budget. The first thing you should do is look at your income for the past few months and then break down your expenses. Categorize your expenses into the necessary expenses, such as your rent or your mortgage, your car loan, your grocery bills, and your childcare bills, and of course, your medical bills. And after you deduct those, look at how much discretionary disposable income that you have and try to stay within that budget. There are lots of activities, such as doing a barbecue at a park, that are a lot of fun, but do not necessarily break the bank.
Speaking of breaking the bank, do you have any tips in terms of how to avoid impacting our financial goals? Because many of us have, these set numbers in our head in terms of where we want to go, what we want to do for retirement, even. But we get afraid to spend a little here, spend a little there around the summer months because we feel like we're going to go completely overboard.
I think there are two things people should really pay attention to. The first one is making sure that when you have a budget and plan, stick to it. These days, there are so many financial tools and services that make it so easy and tempting to not follow your plan. For example, if you just order a delivery for pizza at DoorDash, you can use buy now, pay later and pay for that pizza in full installment payments. And you may actually be spending money that you do not have today, but you think you'll have tomorrow. Without careful planning, if you do too much of that, you may end up with a lot of unnecessary bills that you could have avoided. So that's number one. I think number two is what you actually do with the money you save, right? Because if you just put your money in a checking account that does not have a very high yield, you're not even going to beat inflation. And inflation is very high these days. If you look at gas prices, beef prices, and egg prices. So make sure either you buy some inflation indexed financial instruments or invest at least in a high yield savings account that generate 4% interest yield so it covers inflation and your money is not getting less and less just by sitting in the bank.
Excellent. Now, I got to say, often we hear interviews like this and we get all these great ideas and we want to jot them down. And then as things progress, we forget what those tips are. Is there a website? Is there a place that we can go to kind of tap in and remind ourselves how to do better?
There are many resources online and in apps. For example, Kickoff's app that is available for download for free in the App Store and Google Play Store has quite a few very useful tools for individuals and families to monitor their bank accounts, track their spending, and make sure that they stay within budget. And on top of that, we also offer debt negotiation services for our members. So if you're struggling already with, say, the credit card bills that you accumulated over the past few months, we can help you potentially get that relief from your credit card companies.
Cynthia, thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing all of these tips. It was good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I know that you're feeling a little overwhelmed about the spending that you've been doing or you're preparing to do for the summer, but there are tips, there are things that we can do to establish a budget and stay on track. Please take the opportunity to visit the website, learn more, and stay tuned to more Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back.